Hey everybody, welcome back for some Evolution Legends content. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 heroes in the game at this point. This is very subjective, just my opinions. It's just based on kind of my personal experiences. And some of the criteria I'm looking at for my top 5 is the overall impact they have when you add them to the team. What kind of utility are they providing, and how well do they perform in their role. So let's start off taking a look at the first one, and these are in no particular order. This is just the top 5. No surprise here in the Relic faction, best tank in the game, Cronos. He has multiple CC abilities that can hit up to 4 targets at once. Really lock down the team, control the pace of the match, and then enemies that are CC'd, they're not able to generate energy, which means that they're not going to be triggering their ults as much. Plus, he also has a leech effect that can help him survive a bit longer. So that combined with his overall tank stats are very good, high armor, high HP. Let's just take a look at these abilities real quick. The Void Chains deals 280% damage to current target and adjacent enemies, so pretty good amount of damage right there. 280% is a pretty big hit, plus a 60% chance of an energy chain to imprison the target for 1 round, and targets can't recover energy. So like I said, controlling the pace of the match, locking people down, preventing them from getting more energy. Whenever Cronos is attacked 3 times, his next basic attack is replaced with summoning energy chains from the underground. This is his binding chains ability. So the chains randomly bind enemies, dealing 230% of attack damage to random 3 to 4 enemies targets, plus a 60% chance of imprisoning the targets for 1 round. Yeah, just another big CC ability. Like I said, great tank, solid stats. His big thing are these binding chains and being able to CC the enemies and prevent them from ulting as much. So definitely has big impact when you add him to your lineup right away. I know he helped me when I first got him added to my team. He definitely helped me push through many levels just by basically taking out certain problematic enemies that I was struggling with in some of the sort of mid-level game. So definitely give him a chance. Try to get him. You can pick him up. He's a very good hero, and you can buy him from the market with the dragon coins. So I definitely recommend spending your dragon coins on him. He's definitely the best hero in that shop to pick up. Okay, next we're going to shoot over to Elemental, and we're going to talk about Irian, the best support hero in this game. For many reasons. She has an ultimate that can do fairly decent damage to many targets, and as well as like debuff the enemy team. But she also has the ability to heal random heroes on your team and give them the ability to attack more than once per round. So that's huge. That's a huge buff. So let's just take a real quick look at some of these. Celestial Light summons a beam that deals 220% of attack damage to 3 to 4 targets randomly, and randomly removes buff from the targets. So again, dealing pretty decent damage as well as removing buffs. Summons Spirit of Light, restores 15% of max HP each round. So she has a self-heal, which is going to help her live longer, which is huge. After Celestial Light is cast, summon 2 Light Elves that surround allies for 2 rounds. So these Light Elves, when they're attached to an ally, at the end of the round, they also get a self-heal. And that also gives them a chance each round for 2 rounds to attack more than once. And if that lands on Cronos or Vebulun that's in lightning form, that's where you're going to reap some pretty big benefits from that. Getting that Vebulun attack twice is going to be devastating for the enemy team, or getting that Cronos to fire off his Void Chains and CC more than once. More opportunities to CC an enemy is definitely going to help tip the scales in your favor in a battle. So awesome hero, very cool looking. A lot of upside. She's one of my favorites for sure. Okay, and then the next hero we'll take a look at is in the wastes. This shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. This is Vebulun. Definitely the best AoE damage dealer in the game. When he's in lightning mode, he's terrifying. Basically, if he's attacking your back squishy line in lightning form, it's pretty much over at that point. So he's just that good. Let's take a quick walk through some of his abilities real quick. Thunder Surge. This is his ultimate. Vebulun stomps on the ground, dealing 240% of attack damage to current target and adjacent enemies. That's pretty good damage right out of the gate on its own. If he's in lightning form, it deals an additional 80% damage when in lightning form, so that's 320% damage. That's huge to the front line. That's big. So very big damage, very big AoE damage there. This is his Thunder Possession. Has a 20% chance to enter lightning form when being attacked for the next 5 rounds. Basic attacks will cast chain lightning that bounce around up to 3 times and doing 210% of the attack. So yeah, when he gets into this lightning mode, this lightning form, not only his basic attacks almost become like his ultimate attack, and it's just he hits his current target, and then this chain lightning bounces around from enemy to enemy and just starts doing a bunch of damage to them as well. He also has some armor break buffs that he gets later on in the game. So all that combined, if he's got those armor break buffs, shields aren't going to really do a whole lot against him. He's just going to be doing a whole lot of damage to your team as well. So he's a big threat. Definitely a priority target if you're battling against him. You want to CC him as much as possible and prevent him from really taking out your lineup. So moving on, let's take a look at the next one, which is going to be in the Abyss faction, and that is going to be Malistor. So attack hero. Malistor is a beast. He's often going to be, if you have him in your lineup, more often than not, he's going to be your top damage dealer. And this is mainly due to the number of strikes he gets from one of his abilities called Demon Pounce. So let's take a look at Demon Pounce real quick. What Demon Pounce does is, when an ally's basic attack or active skill deals a crit strike, Malistor has a 75% chance of making a follow-up attack on that target, dealing 170% damage. And this can trigger once with an AoE as well. And so, yeah, so each ally that you have on your team that's going and hitting, doing multiple strikes. If you've got like a Pyrex that's like shooting 3 fireballs at 3 different enemies, those are like 3 different chances to crit, and he can attack. He can potentially do a follow-up attack for 170% of his damage on each one of those strikes. It's just a beast. So you'll see him when things proc and the RNG's in your favor, you're gonna see him getting a ton of strikes, extra strikes in. So that's really why he's oftentimes your top dealer, because he's getting way more strikes in the match than any of your other heroes, and he's just buffed for crits and damage. So all that damage output is just massive. And when you tech him out with things like an artifact like Demon Eye, that each time you crit, it's gonna add a stack of attack damage bonus. As the fight goes on, the longer he lives, the more enemies he hits and crits, those stacks go up, and he just puts out more and more damage as the fight goes on. So he's definitely a big threat. Definitely a priority target if you're going against him. I hate going against him, especially when you have a lot of like succubuses with giving enemies extra attacks against your team, because this guy comes in and he's following everything up with an extra swing, and he's a real pain. His other ability, his ultimate, is Abyssal Fury. This is basically a frontline AoE, does 270% attack damage to the current target and targets on either side. That's pretty big. That's pretty good damage output. Oh, and then finally, the other thing that's really big for him is why he's a big asset to the team is at the beginning of the round, he buffs the entire team's crit chance by 30%. So your whole team gets a bonus 30% crit chance, which synergizes really well with that Demon Pounce ability. So absolute beast hero. I really love having him in the lineup. He's a blast to watch, get all those follow-up hits on. He's amazing. And then finally, the last hero I'm going to talk about, probably the most controversial one. Probably not going to be on everybody's list, but some people may agree, some people may not. She's my favorite hero in the game. If you saw my Abyss overview video, I raved about Galio. I love Galio. I love the artwork on her, like the skin. She looks amazing. She's a beast. You know, she has abilities that really buff her quite a bit. I mean, she's a tank, but she puts out a lot of damage as a tank. She actually starts the round off kind of squishy, not super tanky. I've actually run her in my back line quite a bit. I recently started to run her in my front line more because I've got her artifacts that can protect her a little bit better. But she can carry a team. I mean, as the match goes on, her ultimate ability allows her to build up stacks of attack and armor and prevent damage as well as buffing her attack. And then her basic attack has the ability to leech health away from the enemy line. So as she could be down to a sliver of energy, and she gets that one basic attack off that if it hits the entire front line, can take her almost back up to full health. Let's just take a quick look at some of these abilities and just read through real quick. So Soul Eater Sword, this is her ultimate. Wields a magic sword, extracting the souls of 3 random enemies, dealing 160% of attack damage and stealing 10% of the target's attack and armor for 3 rounds. So as I said, as these ultimates go off, she's kind of building up those buffs. That's going to help her mitigate damage and increase her damage output. I mean, don't underestimate her. She's a pretty good DPS, even though she's categorized as a tank. And then Soul Shift. This is basically when she's taking attack, she's building up this soul energy. Her sword gets these stacks, and then that makes her next basic attack. For each stack that she has, will buff that attack by 20% and add a 20% leech. So this is how she's able to just heal herself up from almost nothing, almost death, all the way back up almost to full health. Because if you've got 3, 4, 5 stacks built up at that point, because she's been taking a lot of hits, and then she swings and she's right back at full health. It's awesome. She will carry. I've had her so many times. She's carried me through a tough campaign situation where she's the last hero standing against 3 or more of the enemy, and she's just able to kind of mitigate enough damage, and that heal effect is amazing. So very fun character, hero to have. Definitely recommend giving her a try. That's my top 5. You might be asking, hey, what about Sir Fernum and Medusa and Succubus? All great heroes. I know Sir Fernum is amazing. He's probably in everybody's top 5. I'm a little biased for Galio because I like her, and Sir Fernum, he's tough to get. He doesn't have a high drop rate. I think he's a bit OP, and I think he's going to get nerfed, but as it stands right now, yeah, he's a beast. He can easily be in this top 5 as well. But Medusa's very close as well. I could see her on people's top 5 list as well. She's amazing. I run her in my lineup, and she's been a lot of fun. She's one of the newer heroes that was added to Waste faction, and she's just a lot of fun with her poison stacks and her burst damage. And then like teching her out with something like Arctic Heart when she's doing all that splash hits, and she can freeze a lot of enemies and add some of that CC support as well. Pretty amazing. And then I just want to do a quick shout out for Succubus, the only elite hero that'll probably make anybody's top 5. Probably not going to be in anybody's top 5, but I think Succubus gets an honorary mention because being an elite hero and not being an epic could easily be overlooked, but her abilities are second to none. Let me just take I'm just going to spend a second here. Let's take a quick look at her. This is her right here. And she has this soul seduction, 90% chance to charm target for 2 rounds. Taking it, that's first of all 90%. That's huge. I mean, pretty much gonna seduce, gonna CC any target she hits more often than not. And then taking somebody out for 2 rounds is a really big deal, especially if she hits a key target that's giving you a lot of problems. And then the Love's Lash. This is why people mostly run her. Succubus will whip adjacent ally into a frenzy, dealing 30% attack to the target. So she'll hit her own ally and do damage, but the trade-off is that ally gets a second swing for that round, so a second attack. That could be an ultimate. If she hits Cronos gets 2 attacks in, or if she's standing next to Pyrex, and then Pyrex can get 2 attacks in, Medusa, etc., etc. As we know, as I talked about with Irian, getting multiple attacks in a round is a really big deal, and that oftentimes is the difference between winning or not winning. And so it can really push you further in the campaign, further in Heliosa, further in the Gaia tree. So definitely recommend her. So I had to give her an honorary shout out as well. Anyways, yeah, that's my top 5. Let me know what you guys think. What's your top 5? I would love to discuss that with you. Drop a comment in there. Let me know if you agree with this list, or you want to post your own list. I'd love to see it. So thanks a lot for watching the video. Please hit the sub button. Please hit the like if you like this content. And you guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon.